Okay, this is what I commented on all 800 of my subscriptions on all the community sections. So basically, every popular channel on YouTube, I just commented on their community section, and I'm probably going to be doing this weekly on all these things that are important. And these are for our future listeners. This is where we're at in 2019. These are our main priorities, and I'm trying to get them more well known and more discussed. If it's commented on all the community sections of every channel on YouTube every weekend, um, maybe they'll be more discussed and maybe like asked during a debate or something so we could actually implement one of them. First thing is, with the things we need to follow suit on as a country, Kenya has made poaching, uh, has made it so poachers get the death penalty. That's Kenya. And I think we need to follow suit with Kenya and Switzerland. I think we need to follow suit on Switzerland because Switzerland has banned boiling lobsters alive, and so is New Zealand. So Switzerland and New Zealand have banned boiling lobsters alive. And Costa Rica has banned hunting for sport. I think we need to follow suit with Costa Rica in terms of banning hunting for sport. Costa Rica has banned hunting for sport. New Zealand and Switzerland have banned boiling lobsters alive. And Kenya has banned poaching and has actually made it so poachers get the death penalty. And I think those are some things that need to be discussed. Uh, the next thing is just like a lot of Europe has free college. I think there's something even better than free college, and it's Harvard has made free. Harvard has free online courses. Free online courses. Harvard has free online courses from 4 years ago. So their curriculum's updated, and you can take Harvard courses for free from 2016 if you search Harvard free online courses. And it's free online courses from 4 years ago. That's Harvard. We need to follow suit with Harvard. And then there's lab grown meat gigafactories. I don't know why there hasn't been any discussion on this. Obviously, there's more important gigafactories like making all the trucks solar and stuff like that. But I think we need to soon do a mega project as a nation to make some lab grown meat gigafactories and basically feed every meat eater on earth, basically. And then, so with people who aren't aware of lab grown meat processes, there's lab grown meat, but you have to feed the meat nutrients. You have to feed the meat nutrients for it to grow and for them to reproduce cells. And so there's one that's the preferred way, and that's Just has it, and Aleph in Israel has it, and there's I'm unsure about Finless Foods, and I'm unsure about Memphis Meats, but Just and Aleph and Israel have they have they feed it plant protein, just like in nature. So it's not like, well, they feed plant. It's like in nature. They feed it plant protein to reproduce. But then there's Mosa Meats, and that's in Europe. Mosa Meats is like using nutrients from calf fetuses. And so that's the specifics on lab-grown meat. Most of you probably are unaware of is that there's two growth mediums for reproducing cultured meat cells. And there's one with feeding it plant protein, and that's the preferred one. And there's one feeding it calf fetus nutrients. So we need to ban the calf fetus nutrients growth medium for cultured meat in America. We need to be the first one to make an act to ban lab-grown meat calf fetus growth mediums, and that should be immediate. And another thing that we need to follow suit in is Sky News has a free live stream. Once live stream came out, Sky News put productivity, convenience, potential, and evolution over everything else. and I don't know how they're doing it. I think Sky Sports and all that is funding their anchors and stuff, but you type in Sky News on Google, you get a free Sky News live stream. Same thing on YouTube. All these live streams, I'm following on Twitter every organization that has a free live stream. And that's Sky News free live stream. We have to follow suit. I'll put all this in the description. And I'll comment it on every community section every week, every Saturday or Sunday. It only takes a few hours to scroll through all the subscriptions. And next thing is archives. That's a big thing. So I guess I've done more research recently and about terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, and zettabyte. But people have like petabytes in their house and stuff. I think a petabyte would get a season, but then an exabyte would get, or like, yeah, a petabyte would get one team, one season, and people have that much memory. Like MLB can afford that. So how many? You need 30 petabytes a year, and then to store all those games or something. And it's much less than that because it's 162 games. And I think an exabyte would eventually get like every team. Eventually, like 10 exabytes would probably get every game from every team ever recorded, an exabyte. And I don't know why MLB.com can't fund that and set an example for all the other sports organizations. And then a zettabyte would just have every sport ever created. But like if ESPN Classic has like the rights to those archived games, then what you do is you make a more expensive subscription, like it's at $120 a year. You make it $200 a year, and you give ESPN Plus that the extra subscription amount, and you partner with them to make the archives viewable to the public. And maybe you could put some of that money towards from either side to server space. And if the app doesn't support that much server space, what you do is you make a website and that you run and that you have everyone's credentials for your main app. And then if that app can't support that much memory, then you make a website for every year, and then you have people log in with the same credentials because it's run by you and you have their credentials, and then they log in and they have access to the archives. And so they need to do that for every sport after they finish getting the rights to every international sport thing. And you need to get channel archives like History Channel. You need to get channel archives. Literally just see what they have. Every channel needs to get a huge server like every sport organization. And we need documentary archives. That goes with channel, but documentaries are good. I feel like YouTube was created so we could have all the documentaries all organized in one spot, and it's a bunch of bullshit on YouTube. So I think we need to get sports channel, documentary, and lastly magazine archives. Sports channel, documentary, magazine archives. I was thinking that if I had every National Geographic magazine, I'd be a very knowledgeable person. If I had every Time magazine or Economist or something, I'd be a very knowledgeable person. Next thing is I'll make another YouTube video on the Internet Wayback Machine. But that was my solution to solve all my liked videos removed on YouTube. All my liked videos, like half of my liked videos are removed by people who are aware of liked videos being removed. And so I was going to have YouTube, I was going to ask YouTube to make a button to save all the titles and their URLs to your playlist. And you click a button and then you keep all the titles and URLs should be automatic just on each playlist. You can view the title and URL, and then you could press a button to save all the URLs to the Wayback Machine, which is if you type a site in on the Wayback Machine, you can access it from a previous date. But some websites you can't see on a previous date because you have to type it in for it to save. So I wanted a Wayback Machine button, but I found out there's a better option. Since YouTube's owned by Google, I feel like once you like a video, that MP4 of the video should automatically be saved to the Google Drive. So you have all your liked videos automatically And yeah, you need to make the server space cheaper. The next thing, so yeah, not the YouTube video link. So if they delete it, then it's off your Google Drive. The actual MP4 of that Google Drive needs to be saved to your Google Drive. Big thing is Gmail Analytics. I created a website and there was this constant contact thing, like you have to pay for. I don't know why you have to pay for it, but you have to. You can see, like, if you send a mass email from your website, you can see who viewed your emails and stuff like that, and who and how long maybe. I didn't actually buy it, but there was some Gmail analytics, and that should be automatic for every Gmail. Like, I want to understand how long my email was viewed by the person who received it, and I want some analytics on that I can view on like a pop-up or something. And I also want to know how long the email was viewed, and I want a notification if my email was sent directly to spam. If my email sent directly to spam because someone marked a previous email as spam, I want that input. So I'm not over here waiting for a response, and I could call them or something, thinking that they're going to respond to my email when they aren't going to. And then phone records, iCloud.com. Same with Google server space. You need an iCloud server space, and that's kind of cheap. It's actually very cheap in terms of audio clips of your phone records. I want audio clips of my phone records so I can send poor customer service to the company or a committee if there's a consumer complaint committee. And I want shitty customer service related to the company so they could do something about it. And I want it a click away. Like, I could send them this audio clip, and all you need you have iCloud sign in login, and you need your iCloud.com, your iPhone.com, and you need to log in with that thing you always have to sign into, and there are your phone records for your use, and your MP4 or MP3 or whatever it is. And then we need to make citizenship easier in America. We need to follow suit of the United Kingdom, which is 5-year residence. That's bullshit that we have this. People have to take being forced to learn American history in order to be a citizen of one of the continents, basically. So we need to make that 5-year residence citizenship. And then drug offenders rehab instead of felony. I think we need Denver's legalized shrooms, so we're speeding up on like shrooms and peyote and stuff like that being legalized, and I think we need to do that faster, and we need to legalize because we don't want to get fucked for having possession of one of these substances. It's stupid. And we need drug offenders rehab and not felony, so you don't bring a canine unit in my house after you arrest me out front while I'm getting my mail for whatever reason. Or that's irrelevant. We'll get to that. Next thing is either we withdraw from the Middle East, because if you hear point of views from our soldiers, they're dying for no reason out there. People are protecting themselves, and they're dying for no reason. So I don't think we should have that many troops over there. And also from Middle Eastern teenagers. And I have a good idea, since when you're in your late 20s or something, you're more mature and you're not going to go over and kill civilians and stuff. So I want it, you can't fight in the Middle East until your second 8-year tour act, due to statistics that you find of civilian casualties being caused by dudes in their first tour. So I think you need to make it so you can't fight in the Middle East until your second 8-year tour, and get those dudes in their first tour to paintball or something for 8 years, to ensure that all our troops are elite when they go out into the battlefield. And next thing is mega structures, 1% budget 10 times. I'm going to do a few videos regarding like the rich tax, which I'm not a fan of. the shipping tax, which I'm not a fan of, and the tech tax, which I'm not truly a fan of. But I am a fan of like the stock tax. It's been called the Wall Street tax, but I think it should be fair. I think there should be a stock earnings tax, and then that would make a lot. And then crypto's making so much more than the stock market, so I think there should be a United Nations order crypto tax as well, and we could take 1% of each of those 10 times. And same with the budget of every country. We tell them, take all your components, make it all 99%, and take that 1%, add it all up to 1% of your budget, and we use that towards some mega project, which I'll get into. So those are the three I like. I like the stock earnings, but I think, very important, I think we need to cap it at like 1 billion a year, so it's not unfair to one person or a handful of people. I think if you earn $1 billion a year, then we should cap it instead of like making it so we cap it on the bottom end. We should cap it on the top end so it's not unfair. So 1 billion a year, then that's your limit of amount that you pay. Like, and then developing countries, mega projects, international stock or crypto earnings tax. That should be good. Finland UBI. If we end up doing this UBI from anything, then I think we should do half UBI for a few reasons. I'm going to do a whole another video. Basically, like if you give people $12,000 a year and then decide you want to do something else with that money, it's going to be harder to take it away from them. So I think we need to start with like half UBI or something and get them 500 a month, because you're going to get 2 trillion for 12,000 a year per person, 1,000 a month. I think we should do 500 a month, 6,000 a year or something, so we could have 1 trillion to do mega projects and stuff that we can't do with our budget because our budget wasn't big enough. Like we need a city-sized, nuclear-powered indoor agriculture project, and we need to see how much food we can produce in one space. That's a city-sized, nuclear-powered indoor agriculture project. I think like if we need to find out how much food we can produce in like a square mile or something, and that should be big. Like with all the previous things, I'm going to get to it actually. I'm going to break down the 10%, 1% that we should put it through. So, but my idea is UN this month make an announcement to all 190 UN ambassadors to bring their list of their country, states, provinces, and counties, municipalities, and then schools, organized in that order: country, state, county, school, to the first meeting in a month. And that's an announcement this month. And then next month, first meeting, everyone turns in their schools and then organized how I just said, and then they have a meeting and they go over economic integration benefits, which is, and this is going to be live. This is going to be the first UN monthly live stream, and we're going to have the first UN monthly live stream, and they're going to go over economic integration benefits, and which are reducing child mortality, reducing resource insecurity, reducing repression, reducing poverty, reducing hunger, reducing dissent, reducing violent conflict, while increasing peaceful transitions, inclusion, and collaboration. And then the third month, second meeting, we provide a computer-generated admin login for every school and get all 190 leaders to agree to one of those three: stock earnings tax, crypto tax, or budget tax or something. I don't know if the tech tax is fair or not. If it's all tech companies, I think that's fair, and that could bag us a lot of money. But I don't know if that's fair or not, because tech companies, most of them are getting off on us in the beginning, or are part of something that we're being gotten off on due to technology not being like protected from people who have like security clearances and can do whatever they want. I think, but then I think half needs to go to universal basic income, global, like divided by 7 billion universal basic income, and then that's economic integration for you. And then basically we're going to go one by one each person, and the other half is going to go to lowest priority not met, resulting from comparative statistics of this education forum that I'm about to talk about. Half goes to yeah, and we're basically going to go one by one and see who agrees with child mortality and who disagrees with child mortality, and get every country to agree by to economic integration. And then so this form is going to be, there's four on the left margin of the education form. It's going to be country, state, county, school, and then that's organized. And then type of school, there's your public school, your private school, your magnet school, your charter school, your boarding school, your privatized special education school, your online or virtual school, your language immersion school, your international school, your religious school, your Reggio Emilia school, your Waldorf school, your Montessori school, your STEM school, your parochial school, and then you got your universities, colleges, vocational schools. And that's going to be organized. And then on the left side, it's going to be left margin is going to be country, state, county, school. Top margin is going to be employees, forums, charts, complaints. So employees, forums, it's literally going to be the employee of that school on the forum. Employee of the school, employees, forums, charts, complaints. You're going to have your employees, and you're going to have their bio and their profile here, and they're literally going to be like this at the forums, at their chart. So visitors can't participate in the forums. They could just, it's suggestions, complaints, by the way. They could just type in on suggestions and complaints all the way out. Fairfax County Public Schools, State of Virginia, whatever they have, Department of Education, all the way down to like Chantilly High School or something. And then they could type in suggestions, but this is going to be for a good visual of like schools. And then you're going to have your employees, and then there's going to be one chart on the forums, and it's going to be the budget, and it's going to have captions where they're doing their budget, how much they're saving, etc. And then it's going to have the employees, who are the only people who can contribute on that form. It's for public view, so they could see where their tax money's going, and they could get an organized visual of like how things are working. And then in that left margin, there may be a toggle to like education, and then toggle to like department. So the department one, we can see where everything overlaps, but it's going to be hard to get to a school if it's through the department organization, like Department of State, Bureau of Diplomatic Security, Office of Overseas Schools, and then you can see all the offices of every bureau, of every department, if you toggle the left margin. But for importance of the education form, firstly, so we can, I'll get to the mission for this. And then the third one before complaints is going to be charts. That's basically the mission. So employees is going to be their profile, lesson plans, bio, action plans, resume, even. You can probably hide it if you want. And and posts and stuff on your profile. And it's going to be organized LinkedIn. And it's going to be, you're going to have your leadership, your administration, your teachers, your staff. And I'm going to actually make a whole another video on this, but I'll go over it quickly. Forums is going to be viewable to visitor, and it's going to be strictly about funding priority, employee opinions and discussions, with a budget pie graph at the top and captions. And then the charts one, the third on the top margin, is going to be stats, supplies, clubs, facilities. Stats is going to include when it was founded, student population, teacher population, how many grades, what grades, K through 12 or whatever, teacher-student ratio, classroom size, number of homerooms, students per square meter, salaries, and attendance rate. And those are the stats. And then supplies is going to be water, food, desks, boards, seats, props, costumes, instruments, art supplies, microscopes, computers. And then clubs with a home field caption, coach caption, and a supplies caption is going to be chess, robotics, sports, mock UN, extracurricular, choir band, drama, art, etc. Facilities with supplies captions is going to be gym, pool, auditorium, black box, groundskeeper, solar, aquaponics, shipping containers, vegetative roofs, animal school monitors, fountains, rinks, stuff like that. And then complaints is going to be everywhere, even on an individual. And then a visitor is going to have to do their ID. So they have their own profile, so we can view all their complaints. So there's not a bunch of bullshit complaints by one person, and we could see all the complaints someone did, and we can see all the complaints on someone, and because those are things that need solved. And then the very top of the screen, above like the chart layout, is going to be forum, and you can switch to education, to supermarket, and there's going to be maps. There's going to be like pop-up rubrics and stuff. I'll get to it. Uh, and basically, very top of the screen, forum, you switch education, supermarket, etc., like hospitals, fire and rescue, law enforcement, construction, stuff like that. And then we could see like how everything works, and it'd be a good visual for like a 20-year-old. And then forum, mission, contact, and language. Alter your language on the top right, because it's an international forum. This is going to be for every country. And the mission, and then contact, forum, mission, contact, language. Forum is going to be education, supermarket, law enforcement, fire and rescue, medical, construction, retail. It's probably those, and retail is all there is. Government, politics, restaurants, restaurant forum or something. And yeah, mission. Okay, this is going to be big. It's going to be like an essay and a video on the mission site. Mission is to have recommended priority list order, a recommended priority list order for any school, and then have pop-up ranking rubrics for every aspect of the chart. Color coordinated, red, orange, yellow, green, color coordinated. Then the schools assign the color for the minimum priority not met, or you can just view specific maps. It's going to be a rubric pop-up, and there's going to be a map pop-up for the county when you're at the county. So school is going to be rubrics, and then for that specific aspect, red, orange, yellow, green, and then when you click on county, and you have all the schools in one big chart, four sections of the chart, you're going to have like averages. Okay, and then you're going to be click that pop up, and instead of a rubric popping up, you're going to see a map, and then you're going to see all the schools like by zones. By zones basically, and then we're going to see who has what in terms of, we're going to see color coordinated in terms of every aspect for every county, and then we're going to average those and make the same kind of thing for, maybe have a rubric pop up too, maybe two pop-ups, and then a state, and then a country, and then global, basically, global maps. And then like you could do a TED talk or of like the 10 biggest things, like Gabon and Afghanistan have desks and chalkboards, and Kenya only has chalkboards. So what do we need to do with money? We need to get Kenya desks, and stuff like that. And effective charts color coordinated by school, assigned color for minimum priority not met, so can make effective conclusions based on color map. We can make effective conclusions based on comparative statistics on our next priority with this 1 trillion or whatever that we get from percent of schools, and we just go by school, and then people will be set because their school's set eventually. And then with aspect fulfilled, make aspect fulfilled, how many schools have a pool, and then aspect fulfilled, and you can click up or down, sorted by up or down, and then all the competing schools can be like, oh, they have a pool, so we need to work on getting a pool. And it's going to be all the way over to vegetative roofs, fountains, bird feeders, landmarks, and animal school monitors even. And then you're going to have like stripes. You're going to have like a bird with like 5 stars or something if they have all 5 of those. And averages for the county, and then average that for the state and country all the way up. And then we could see more and more of like color coordinated stuff, easy visual, good visual, where our money's going, who's buying rinks when someone doesn't have desks and stuff like that. aspect fulfilled, Gab in Afghanistan, economic integration. So that's going to be the main purpose of the and I tried to do it myself, but it's going to take me even like a week to get all the counties all organized if I worked all day every day. So if we had 190 people do it and they had a month, we could probably get all those schools and then make a program to generate an admin login. So when they change principals, it keeps on the admin login. And then I'm unaware of how to work with the timeline, like if you want to view faculty from 2017 or something. And the contact page. Oh yeah, and we need to have in that same mission area, we need to have benefits, economic integration. The fact that World Wide Web's been around since 1990. This should have been the first website ever made. What I'm saying, and World Wide Web's been around for 30 years and it's not made. And because UN has been focusing on peace or something, and this should be their main thing after that. And then another thing that should be on the mission is there's 4 UN purposes. If you search purposes of UN, it basically correlates with all the benefits of economic integration. This is Poli-Sci 101 stuff. It's crazy how we don't even have Poli-Sci 101 stuff filled in terms of international economic integration and stuff like that. And the fact UN correlation, purposes of UN correlation essay, good visual info out there, teachers and people presenting their budget and action plans so underdeveloped countries can compare. Like you could set an example on like order of, it'll show the order of priority list and stuff like that, or primary, secondary, tertiary. I'll make a whole another one going into much more detail about this website. And the contact page for the website is going to be suggestions to improve and complaints, if any, and then it's going to have like, the top one's going to be why aren't there any reviews, and then there's going to be an explanation. Positive reviews are expected, and that takes up space. And that's going to be the first thing on the forums for the site suggestions, and then we'll take care of everything else. And then I don't know about language, and then login's going to be bottom right because we need to get everyone in the world eventually on this, and every employee definitely, because there's terrible customer service. There's going to be super memos to all sub-admins, to all principals, executive directors, with a message to them, and then it's going to have 4 more messages for them to relay to the person in charge of statistics, person in charge of inventory, activities coordinator, facilities manager, and then a 6th one, IT specialist, who needs to gather all the information. They need to meet, like, I don't know how often they need to present their things, maybe once a year even, with all 6 of them, to need to have a meeting to tell the IT specialist exactly what to put on the site. And then for sub-admin to relay user roles by site restrictions is going to be admin, UN, sub-admin, all executive directors and principals, acceptor, verified registered, unverified registered, and visitor. So we're going to have sign up, scroll down search menus. Inside sign up, we're going to have scroll down search menus. Inside scroll down search menus. Country, state, county, school, select who you're affiliated with, select school you're affiliated when you sign up, and create your login name, and then you're officially from a visitor to an unverified registered. And then unverified registered, you're locked out of your inbox and forums still until sub-admin review. Sub-admin of the school you selected already verifies that you're a current employee of that school. Once they do, you're verified registered. Verified by sub-admin, but still restricted from everything until you create your profile and do all the prerequisites, upload your lesson plans and action plans and a bio and maybe resume or something. And then once that happens, then it's the acceptor. So once they're verified, and all their profile stuff is complete and verified again by the sub-admin as accurate information, they will be redirected to a terms and conditions page. next time they log in, where there will be 5 customer service videos and 10 multiple choice questions for each video. And the answer to every question will be A, accommodate, for 50 questions. And then there's going to be a terms and conditions with the 150 BCDs of those questions, from provoke negative reaction, subtly have your way with, blatantly have your way with for 10 seconds, have your way with for 1 second, have your way with for 1 millisecond, hang up, mark as spam, do not respond, do something with detrimental intent, do something with negative motive, teach lesson, not take into account well-being of person seeking service, give false name, not get manager, make sarcastic recommendations like you understand where they're coming from, orchestrate what they're doing, not de-escalate understandable frustration from a customer or person seeking service who is showing frustration due to not being accommodated, because that is understandable, that they haven't been accommodated and their frustration is understandable, etc., with the regular terms and conditions, privacy policy stuff, so that all complaints can fall under one of those 150 things and that they shouldn't do, so people's endeavors can go more smoothly and people can people who are hired to provide service actually do so with accountability. And basically there's more on that stuff. I have a bunch more. Well, you could, one thing, you could just say, I agree to fully accommodate someone in my very first response and check my email multiple times per day, and that would solve all those things. And if they don't do that, that's just probably the last thing that they need to agree on. So I will check my email multiple times a day while at work, and I will accommodate people as much as I possibly can in my very first response, and so forth. And I had more stuff on that. We got yeah, basically I'm over here getting cease and desists for not taking shit up the ass, and every cease and desist I'm familiar with is enacted on someone complaining, when I should be federally protected from retaliation for complaining about any entity. That's protected from retaliation for complaining about any entity. That should be something federal, and people are getting subpoenas from Apple, people are getting subpoenas from these international schools and stuff because they're not being accommodated by the receptionist or person who's supposed to provide them service. And then there's, I'm sending, I send email to the State Department about the cease and desist that I got from an international school organization, and they don't respond to me for a week. And this conference that I have a whole video about this on how ridiculous this airline international, like I get permission for a conference, buy my flight, then they terminate me because I told this guy he didn't answer my question in his first response, and then that should be understandable, and then I don't get my refund from a Priceline and Alliance Travel Protection Insurance, so I'm out my flight and my money. So that's ridiculous, and airlines are going to be on this forum too and stuff like that. And basically, yeah, I'm getting cease and desist, and then I send the State Department an email expressing my frustrations one night, and then the morning after I get a call from my PO, and I get a call, get knocks on my door for student conduct about the email that I sent like 12 hours beforehand when they didn't respond to my professional one in 2 weeks. So basically all these cease and desists, whoever's reviewing these cease and desists before they implement them needs to turn that shit around and get to the bottom of what this the cease and desist is all about, which is usually someone complaining when they're protected from retaliation for complaining about any entity. I wasn't allowed in some of these clubs that I planned to be in because I was just saying with 25 to 50 essays of me requesting meeting times and to be added to an email list, all to these clubs, Aeronautical Club, which I planned to be in before I transferred to the university, and then I literally said what they were doing and not doing, and then re-requesting meeting times and to be added to the email list. Literally dealing with 6 people of one club, and this is multiple clubs. This is one example of the club, and then they just would not. They just kept like provoking me, everything I just said. They just kept doing everything imaginable to me. And then that's the first time I got sent to student conduct, and I currently have 2 strikes, and all I'm doing is making it so I'm can feel comfortable. So I'm in a state where I'm not letting someone get off on me. If I feel like someone's getting off on me, I have to tell them about it, and then I get sent to student conduct, and that just keeps happening, keeps happening. And then last time I just sent it, went back to my inbox and sent it to every single person who didn't accommodate me, and then I got sent and got my second strike. But I'm walking around not letting people get off on me anymore. So that's my main accomplishment. And this is the only 2.0 guaranteed admission on the East Coast. So I'm going to be, the only thing keeping me afloat is my VA and my FAFSA. So if they kick me out for not taking shit up the ass, they have a good responsibility. It's only 2.0 on the East Coast to not kick people out for taking shit up the ass. So I'm not in a shelter. And this FAFSA is like, I have to appeal my FAFSA. I didn't even start using FAFSA until last fall, and I've gotten basically all A's since I started using FAFSA. And since I arrived at West Virginia University, I'm over here having to appeal due to personal difficulties from community college when I've gotten all A's since I started using FAFSA. And since, and they're delaying my shit. It's annoying. And more things, if you guys search accommodate complaints on YouTube, I'm on the leaderboards. Most sticks in Halo 5. I'm third most. I discontinued playing like a year and a half ago. I was leader until like half a year ago. Most sticks in Halo 5 and accommodate complaints leaderboards. If you search accommodate complaints on YouTube, I'm the leaderboard person, and I'm the accommodate complaints person. And if you search Indonesia accommodate complaints, Indonesia is something we have to follow suit. Indonesia accommodate complaints government forum app. Indonesia accommodate complaints government forum app. So we need to follow suit on Indonesia. So all these countries we need to follow suit with. And then there's doggy Facebook. I think there needs to be a doggy Facebook trend among dog breeders to set up a doggy Facebook with all the siblings, so the siblings are friends before the dog's purchased, and then they could see each other on VR set up in the living room or something. And then hunting, I did that Costa Rica and Kenya, and supermarket. Yeah, supermarket forum with the education forum, so I could do another TED talk on who has what and who needs what and stuff like that. And then I think I need a paragraph. I need 3 paragraphs from someone. Like, I'm out here giving you guys information that some of you may not be aware of, like all the Kenya and Switzerland and New Zealand stuff, and all this stuff, all this Hulu stuff, and all my other videos, giving information some of you may not be aware of. And someone out there has a nanotube progress paragraph that I'd like to see. I'd like to read it. There's a perfect way you can word something, the nanotube progress paragraph, and I want to know the nanotube progress paragraph with near future timeline estimates, basically. And then I want to have a lab grown meat progress paragraph with near future timeline estimates, and I want a bandwidth progress and explanation paragraph with near future timeline estimates, bandwidth. And I think memory should be included in that. If you can make one super paragraph or one super essay that like explains like from your computer to your modem to a dish to the satellite to the cell tower to the people to the satellite to the cell tower to the people transmitting the satellite. So if you can explain that, and then explain bandwidth, and explain what we need to do. Do we need to upgrade everyone's modem in every house in the world to have a bigger funnel for bandwidth or something? And then start making laptops with that same funnel, and then upgrade cell towers, and what's going to be the most difficult thing about that, and stuff like that. And then yeah, I think we need to desanalize a little bit with the water cycle. Like, as long as we need to make signs like don't pour the water into the sand in Africa, and just make signs on every school in Africa, don't pour the water into, like, a big X pouring water into the ground, and a big check mark on drinking water, or washing your hands over a pipe, and then all that water will just get evaporated or put into the sewer so it can be recycled and cleaned. And then we wouldn't be, and then it could go back into the air, and then we can rain and give the ocean back the water. So desalinizing isn't like taking out or increasing the salt amount in the oceans for the fish. And I think, yeah, I think we can do that with those signs if we just desalinize a little bit. And that will probably be with in the primary. It'll probably be in the primary priorities from that forum. Is some countries are like orange in using well water or something, and then we try to solve all that, but at least like have them not sit on the ground and stuff if they do have drinking water. And then I think we need to do nuclear fusion. I think if we have that would be cool, is if there's an update on nuclear fusion and paragraph on that when it does happen. Tech companies getting off on us. I think we need to make an act like replace the First Amendment or add to the First Amendment, amend it so we can say frustration for not being accommodated is understandable, and add to it by saying every company in America needs to be able to be contacted, mandatory, and needs to be a complaint section for every company that they need to take care of and accommodate people. Complaint section for every company, contact us for every company needs to be added, or to one of the amendments or something, instead of just an act, because that's very important. And every employee on the form eventually, public view, purpose for site, organized, see other comment, purpose for site, organized, intertwining sub-organizations on the toggle, visual, and then see where tax money's going, revenue's going, and then cease and desist. Protected from retaliation for complaining about any entity. That should be added with understandable frustration. And that should be one of the last things, one of the last things you agree to on the terms and conditions too, is protected from retaliation for complaining about any entity. Frustration, understandable. Customers irate for not being accommodated. You need to accommodate them because it's your job. And then feed predators, lab-grown meat. And then before I go into, so we got Merrifield Crisis Center kicked my door down unlawfully, everybody. Merrifield Crisis Center kicked my door down unlawfully. I'm not a felon. They kicked my door down and took all my stuff. That's Merrifield Crisis Center. And yeah, you guys, Merrifield Crisis Center kicked my door down unlawfully. And the next thing is I was arrested for domestic violence out front of my house, and basically they brought a canine into my house, and that's something that they shouldn't do either. Merrifield Crisis Center kicked my door down unlawfully, and they brought a canine into my house after arresting me while I'm getting my mail, and I don't know why they're bringing a canine into my house for that. That isn't textbook, and if it is, then you need to change it. So these are the 10%, I think, in my opinion, are things that we need to fix, or put as like if we did 10% budget, if we did 10% crypto, if we did 10% stock or something, then these should be all the 1% components. Solar stuff, space stuff, city-sized nuclear-powered indoor agriculture mega project, lab-grown meat gigafactories, automation, free medical insurance, and I'm going to do economic integration of universal basic income video, and I'm going to explain all the possible ways to get money in that video, and I'm going to explain my form in another video in more detail. So solar stuff, space stuff, agriculture mega project, city-sized nuclear-powered agriculture mega project, lab-grown meat gigafactories, automation, free medical insurance, global universal basic income, lowest priority on the forum, Hyperloop with trash and mail, and infrastructure with housing. And yeah, that's basically it. And yeah, that's my important video, basically.